Yeah, hello all. Welcome to the session. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes. But before that, let me start the session. So fine. Yeah. So this is the weekend batch, which is batch 283. So yeah, hello, Sayed and all. So if you want to introduce yourself, you can just mention hi or hello in the chat so that we can keep it engaged. So yeah. Fine. So this is the email support. So let's say if you are stuck somewhere or technically, or let's say you want to join the session or any issue, you can reach out to this mail ID, which is support@logiclabstech.com. Okay. So let me move on to the next slide. And this is the banner for this session. So we'll come back to this later. But the timings are, so today is the first demo session. Even tomorrow would be a demo session. And the timings would be at 6 p.m. IST to 8 p.m. IST. Okay. And it's followed throughout the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday. And so these are all the general information. So let me just go through the points. So the first thing is that's what like you can contact the Logic Labs team using the support@logiclabstech.com, and you can reach out to them via this phone number also. And the first two sessions, which is like today and tomorrow, will be a demo session. And on the third session, only for the paid candidates, the Zoom link will be sent. Okay, and there is no batch shifting. Like you can't opt for this one and shift to a different batch. And so there is this WhatsApp channel. Okay, so yeah, I will just give this in the chat also. So if you're not part of it already, so this is like anything related to this course or not the resources. So resources will be uploaded through Graphy, means the portal. This is like anything related, like I'm not available during a session, or any update regarding this session will be posted in this WhatsApp. Like it is a community channel, right? So like only the updates you will see. So you just click on that and join, and you will get an update on that. Okay. So I just sent that link in the chat, and the recordings will be sent via recordings, as well as the day-to-day notes will be sent through Graphy. So I will show you the portal as well. And if you want to reach out to the support team from Monday to Friday, sorry, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST, like the working hours, you can reach out to them. Okay. I will tell you what is Graphy, Shiv Prasad. So that is the tool which we are using for our site. So yeah, I will show you that. Okay. And so these are all the social media. Yeah, I will share it. Say. So these are all the links. Okay, so this is the Logic Labs, or this is where the Graphy is actually. So if you scroll to the last, you see it is hosted via Graphy. So Graphy is nothing but a kind of website, and so all our courses will be here. So let me just go to our course. Yeah. So this is what called as Graphy. Okay. So anything related to the course or the notes, everything will be pasted here. So yeah, I will send the course link as well now. Anyhow, we'll come back to this later. And you can get the social links here, like Telegram, Facebook, YouTube, Insta, and LinkedIn for Logic Labs. Okay, so once again, welcome to the demo session. So today and tomorrow would be a demo for our sessions. And this is a course based on RHCSA. So you'll see what is RHCSA and what is Linux administration in general. So how to do that. And a little bit about myself. So Karthik here. So I done my RHCSA certification like a year back. And I currently working as a platform engineer in one of an MNC. Like on day-to-day basis, at least 7,000 to 9,000 servers we usually handle. It is a production service. So again, these are all kind of fancy terms. What is production and non-prod? So these are all we will see. So for the persons who are not part of infra or who is new to IT, I will explain it from the basics. Okay, so don't worry about it. And first and foremost is what is Linux? Like many would have this question, right? And why Linux is still preferred in the IT industry or in the enterprise. So wherever I mention enterprise, it is nothing but any IT company is called as an enterprise. And why they prefer that, right? So it's been so many years, and so there are two types of operating system which companies prefer, which is like Linux or Windows. So why Linux is kind of dominating, not in recent years, it's been there for quite some time. What is the actual reason? So these are all the questions we'll answer now, and we will proceed with the next slide. Okay, so first thing, what is a Linux? So Linux is nothing but an operating system, and it is an open source operating system, which means even you can create your own version of Linux based on the kernel which is provided by the developers, which is already available online. Okay, so how you can create it? So those are all kind of advanced thing, but as of now, the point is it is an open source. And how about the alternative Windows, right? So it is a closed source. So let me give an example. So let's say you have this start menu, right? Or you can see these all. So you can't change this layout, right? So let's say you don't want it to be in this view. Instead, it should be opened in some material view or some different designs. You can't do that for sure. You can, but let's say if there is any new Windows update, it will be updated. Again, you need to do that, right? So it is a, how to say, like it, that's the, not one, this is just a very basic example I given. It is much deeper, right? So the closed source operating system is good, which will be refined, but it is also has its own caveats along with it, right? So you can't explore much, or you can't integrate your own ideas to that operating system. Whereas in Linux, you can, and that's the best thing about Linux, right? So, and I told kernel, right? So let me just share. So he's the one who first initiated Linux, who is called as Linus Torvalds, and yeah, right. So he was the one who, like, he had Windows operating system, and you guys know already, Windows is notorious to be costly for so many years, and even during his time. And that's the reason he want everyone to have a free operating system. So that's the reason he built his own. Okay, so yeah, Linux is based on Unix, and yeah, so this is the kernel. And if you just fork it, so fork is nothing but you can make a copy of it, and you can create your own. So you see how many people forked it. So around 51K forks are there, and you see the contributors. So this is one of the most contributed repository out there. Okay, so which is in the GitHub. So around 15,000 contributors are there. So not a single developer. Obviously, a single developer can't create his own OS on the fly. It is like these many people came together for many years and created this. And you see, it is still updated. All the repository, it's still being updated for many years. And yeah, so this is the actual kernel. And so why still it is relevant to IT? So that should be your next question, right? So why in the sense Linux has many traits over Windows means it can scale without any issues. So scale in the sense, so first thing, you need to consider your system resources. So what are all system resources? So these are all like CPU, memory, disk, and your network, and your GPU, right? So all these are system resources. So in your Windows, it approaches the same, not much different, but let's say it is almost same. But the way it distributes the load, or any, let's say a simple task like copying a huge file, let's say you are going to copy 1 TB of file. The way Linux approach is totally different than your Windows. Okay, so how it is distributing the CPU threads. Again, this is a simple example. So like that, uh, each and every small nuances will be differed from each operating system, but Linux does it in an optimal way. So that's the main reason. Enterprise needs that. So they don't need this kind of UI and all. So there is no point in having a UI which is not productive. So everything should be productive, or at least based on there should be something out of it, right? So especially in enterprises. So that's the reason Linux is like only CLI will be there. So now what is CLI and GUI? So let's quickly uh, derail and we will see that. So first thing GUI, you guys already know this one, which we are using currently is graphical user interface. And CLI is command line interface. So graphical user interface, even now we are using, right? So this is a GUI, your Windows. So basically, I'm interacting with this mission using my mouse cursor, right? So this cursor, I can just select it or I can remove whatever I want. And there is a graphical elements. So there is an icon. So like that, a lot of graphical elements go inside this GUI, and a lot of resource also needed for a GUI to be loaded, right? So how about CLI? So CLI is nothing but your command prompt. So this is a CLI. I can type whatever I want, but you see only few commands only you can execute. You see, so dir means it will list the directories or list the content of this path, but I can't type anything like just say if I type new, it doesn't work, right? So it should be a specific binary. Okay, the system need to understand the specific command, then only it will be executed. But I can't even select it. Obviously, it will be selected, but you can't double click and go inside any of these directories and all. That's the limitation of CLI. But companies prefer this. So this is much more productive than this GUI, whatever you're doing here, right? So that's the difference between CLI and GUI. And that is also one of the main thing companies prefer. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So these are all the basics of any operating system, not only Linux, any operating system. It revolves around these topics. The first one would be your user management, and the next one would be your disk. Third one would be your process, server, troubleshooting, as well as the basic networking. So let me quickly give a gist about each and everything here. So what is a user management and why it is important? So let's say you belong to an MNC, or let's say you are assigned to a project. That project will have an hierarchy of people in that, and you might work in a different. Let's say you work for a different client, so they have their own hierarchy, right? So everything should be managed internally, and it should have its own integrity to it, right? So like that, user management is one of the important thing every companies concentrate. And even in the Linux, it's a very unique way it is approaching, because in Windows it is totally different way the user management works. So anyhow, over the course we will see how it both are differing. In many ways it will be different, but yeah. So that's the basic thing. Like even your employee data also need to be managed, right? So your client data or else your own company data should be managed. Means data in the sense your user data, right? So that's what user management is, like the user IDs, password, and how secure it is, right? So those things comes under user management. And how about disk management? So let me show you the disk management in my mission. So sorry, not the disk manager. So once again, why I'm giving a Windows example is easily you can relate it to, because you might be already logged in via Windows mission, right? So anyhow, we will see the Linux missions once we start the session tomorrow and all. But as of now, just to show you how it actually works, I'm giving a Windows example, but it would be the same. Okay. So the disk management, you see there are three disks in my case, and so everything will be dumped in a single partition, right? So in your Windows, that's good and bad at the same time. But you see, all the Windows related or any boot files or boot images will be placed under C partition, and it is under a single partition. There is no like a dedicated folder or a partition just for that. So everything will be dumped here under C partition. And yeah, so that's how Windows approaches the disk management. But in Linux, it is a totally different thing. So which is called as LVM. You will see that. Okay. And that's one of the key factor you will be doing as a Linux admin is to manage the disks. Okay. And the next one is your process management. And once again, like you need to monitor or you need to manage which process is consuming more resources, right? So that is also an important thing. And once again, like it depends on the real time because you're not going to handle only one server. So let's say you're going to handle like this one mission. Obviously, you can monitor, but you're going to handle many servers, right? So thousands of servers. So you will have a monitoring tool in place. You will see that what monitoring tool and all you might encounter. And yeah, that's your process management and server troubleshooting. So let's say your server went down. Obviously, there will be your since you're working in a huge volume, at least one server might have some hardware issue or it might be restarted automatically, something like that. So you need to be in a position to troubleshoot what went wrong, right? So you need to have the knowledge. And this is what like the real-time examples I'll be giving. So whatever I used to work and I'm working, I will give the examples like what are all the troubleshooting steps you need to take it for this kind of issue like that. So the last one will be your basic networking. So why I mentioned as basic in the sense, it is like a again networking itself is a separate topic altogether. So again, it's only related to the system or sorry, only related to Linux machine. We'll be seeing how to configure the NIC and how to configure your own IP and host, right? So these kind of things. How like let's say if a port is not listening, how to check that, how to troubleshoot it. So those kind of things we'll see. So now the next question would be, what is or why RHCSA? So there are many certifications out there. So why we are targeting RHCSA? So many people in the meeting might be new to like IT, let's say, or if you are not new to IT, if you're already working in IT, so you might have already heard Red Hat. So if not, Red Hat is also one of the most like kind of in the infra layer, they are the market leader for the enterprise operating systems. So like Windows Server you have from Microsoft, right? Similarly, Linux. So since it is open source, you see these many operating systems are out there. So you see this right side, this list is there, right? So this is the top 10, sorry, top 100 operating systems out there. And again, as I told, many developers can create their own version. Even you can. And so, yeah, that's what you can see a lot of operating systems, but you see Red Hat is here. And so Red Hat has been in the market for so many years, like around 2 decades they are, and they have their own products. Okay, so why company prefers Red Hat is they have a very good support system. Okay, so if you go to support.redhat.com, they have the SLA for their support is very good. So and they have a rapport with almost every MNCs use their operating system. Like, so they dominate around 75 to 85% of the OS or the enterprise operating systems are Red Hat only. Okay, so that's what. And they own many things. Like if you see, Red Hat has OpenShift, and like OpenShift is cloud, and you have what is that? Yeah, Red Hat owns Ansible. So you might have heard Ansible, right? So Red Hat owns Ansible, and I will send this link also in the chat. So you can go through this in your free time. So again, if we go through their how many they own, so it is a lot to cover. Okay, but they are a very huge MNC, and again, so why we are going through this certification in particular, right? So this is an entry level certification. So in the pipeline, so once you're done with RHCSA, you can go for RHCE, which is certified engineer. So Red Hat certified engineer. But this is a very fundamental certification, and almost everything will be covered here. So whatever we saw here will be covered, or at least we will see that. And if it is not covered also, anyhow, as part of the course, I will explain. So troubleshooting and all won't be there in this one, this certificate, but we will cover that anyhow. Okay. And so this is a paid certificate again, but we will discuss that later. Okay. So let me go through the syllabus part. So I won't bore you with so many points, but you just need to understand what and all will be part of this course, right? So let me just go through these points. So the first thing we will see the introduction to the OS. So I just mentioned RHEL 8. So it is like the current version is RHEL 9.2. Okay, so RHEL 8 and 9, there is not much difference. Even what is the few difference we will see in the next session. Okay. And yeah, so just a basic idea what is the operating system is about. And the next one is here. What are all the commands? So many might already at least have an idea that any Linux machine without commands you can't use it. So since it is the most used one is your CLI, obviously GUI is also there, but CLI is the preferred one in most companies. So there is around 2000 plus commands will be there. Again, we won't or no one will discuss in any courses all the 2000 commands. So it will be around 150 to 200 commands we might see over the course. But yeah, so the important commands which are needed, again, you need not memorize or by heart those commands, right? So obviously no one can do that. Uh, we will see how to analyze those commands or how to like once you start practicing, it will be easy for you to get it, right? So, and the next one is even in tomorrow's session, we'll be just doing the installation part. So how to install the machine in your local, like your laptop, as well as in any one of the cloud service provider, like AWS or GCP and Azure. So all the three CSP we will be installing, or I will be showing you. And in our local machine also, I will be showing you how it will be installed. And this is what I told about the monitoring tool. So you have many monitoring tools in the market. So why monitoring tool is, as I told, you can't monitor only. So at the time you can only monitor, let's say, maximum of 2 servers. So if you want to monitor in thousands of servers, obviously you need to create an alert. So let's say if the server process the threshold value, so in this case itself, if the memory is crossed 85%, it should alert you via mail or some notification like that, right? So like that, you should configure for each and every server. You can do that for sure. And there are many monitoring tools out there. So if time permits, we can cover at least one monitoring tool. Okay, so there are many monitoring tools like Zabbix and New Relic. So these are all open source, by the way. And Dynatrace is also open source, but it is like 60 days trial only is there. And Dynatrace is the one which is preferred for the APM, application processing, like application performance tool. Means you need to monitor the this one. So it is an APM tool. Okay, so this is application performance monitoring tool. Okay, so means let's say you're hosting an application on that server, you need to monitor that particular application also, right? not only this infra or this kind of resources. So how the application works. So yeah, Dynatrace is for that, and it is again many companies prefer Dynatrace. So if time permits, we can either cover Dynatrace or New Relic, and so many are there actually. So ELK stack. So you might have came across these terms, ELK, and so ELK is for log monitoring and those things. So while we speak about log, you have Splunk also for log monitoring, and the list goes on. Okay, so as of now, if time permits, we will cover at least New Relic and Dynatrace. If not, again, we won't see the whole thing, just how to install it and how to monitor it. Okay, so yeah, how to set up an alert if time permits. Okay, so that's the monitoring tool. And why that is important, as I told, the performance is the key, right? So you are paying, you are, what to say, like you are promising your customers that you will give the best to them without any latency or any issues during the production hours, right? So what is a production hour? So any application which is out online. So let's say even a YouTube site, right? So if it went down, everyone will panic, right? So it should not go down anytime. So it won't, but let's say in time, if it went down. So that's what, like, you have many things like that. We will cover that. So how a server is approached, and what is it like, what is there in the data centers and all, right? So it will be like not too technical and not too layman terms we will discuss. So we will see that in, if time permits, next session or in next week we will see that. Okay. So the next one is your user management. So how to manage users. So how to manipulate the user. So how to create, modify, delete those things, and how the super user is worked, right? So super user is a new concept which is not there in your Windows. So super user is like for that particular command, he will become as an admin or a root user. So that is a very interesting way of user management. We will see that. Okay. And the next one is your basic OS concepts. So again, these are all the basic which is common for even your Windows also. So how to use the copy, move, delete, create a new file. So these kind of basic operations, and how to search for a specific entry in a text file, and how to access the remote server, right? So again, this servers will be, so you might ask, okay, I'm talking in like, let's say 5,000 servers are there. Obviously, you won't go to that data center and access it, right? So that's absurd. So no one does that. So you should access it remotely. So how to access it remotely? So those, how it actually works, your SSH, or like what is happening in the backend. So we will see that during a key-based authentication session. So many might have used key-based authentication, but doesn't have an idea. We will see in detail how the actual connection works, your open SSH connection, right? So those things, how it works. So SSH means, let me quickly explain that, not in detail, but SSH is the secure shell. So this is how you, using SSH only, you are accessing your server from a data center which is located, let's say, in some north, uh, some California, some Japan, or some location it will be. So you need to access that's the machine in this server or our machine. So how you can access this using this SSH protocol. Okay, so and using a port 22. So there will be a port for each and every protocol. So yeah, we will see that in detail. Okay, so as of now, if I explain that, that will take a lot of time. So that's what we will see during the course. And archive. So how archive works, and archive is a very, very important thing, especially in a production server. Why? Because um, again, so your disk is where any company spends a lot of money, and they need to save as much disk as they want. Obviously, they will acquire a lot of disk, but unwanted space, or the space which is not needed as of now, will be archive, right? So let's say it is not needed for now, but let's say down the line it is needed, like after um, 3 months or so. So in that case, it will be archived. Okay, so like that, and how to create that. Okay, so we will see. And as I told, how to create, delete, move, copy any files and directory. We will see how a hard link and soft link works. Those things we'll check it out. And the most important one is your file permissions. So in Windows, we take it for granted, the file permissions, but in Linux, that's one of the key role how a user access that file, right? So in Windows also we do that, but not to an extent. But here it is very, very important, right? So we need to kind of do a wall garden setup. Like you can't, or you can't even allow a user to view a file, or you can even block a user, or you can even allow a user to use a very confidential file also. It's like how it is approached. So yeah, we will see how to do that. And the next one is your basic sysadmin activities, right? So how even in the next session we'll see the booting procedure and how to interrupt a boot, right? So how to interrupt it and how to identify the which is consuming a lot of process. Which is consuming a lot of resources, which process, right? So in your Windows like this, you can see like the foreground and background process and all, right? In Linux also you can, and how to identify and kill it. So those things you'll see, and how to locate a log file which is populated and check the errors, right? So a log file is crucial, especially for a sysadmin, and how to check that. Those things you'll see, and again, like how to start, stop, and check the status of any system services. I mentioned a system. It can be any service in the whole server. You can check it. Okay. So yeah, and how to securely transfer a file between different servers, right? So using SCP or rsync. So those are all the commands. So don't, yeah. So those commands and much more we will see. We will do all these in practical. Okay, so yeah, that's the best thing about RHCSA is it is not an MCQ exam. So that is the main thing. It is has its own um, weightage in the market. Means if you have this, it has its own credibility, especially. So yeah, it like there will be zero MCQ, so it will be only practical. So if you know the commands, then only you can even at least answer that question. Okay. So this LVM is called as logical volume management. Again, we will see these are all in detail in the session. So as of now, just to since it is in acronym, I'm just expanding it and telling you. So management. And so this is a disk management. LVM is a very, very important concept in disk management. And this is one of the USP of Linux. So this concept is there in Windows, but it is not preferred. Okay, so yeah, we will see how to configure it, how to create, delete, or how to expand, resize, all this for the LVM will do, and how to format it. The different file system format is there, and this status and video. So this also we will see. Okay, and for any operating system, security is an important thing. So how the, as I told, key based authentication works. So while we see that, we will see how the OpenSSH works and the firewall settings, right? Firewall is nothing but, let's say if you worked in AWS, so you have the security group, right? So like that, firewall, even in my mission, the firewall will be there. So like that, any mission which is connecting to the internet will have firewall built in. Obviously, you can turn it on or off, it's your choice, but firewall setup will be there in any operating system. So how to set it up in your Linux, we'll see that. Okay. And how, as I told, like how to change the file permissions and those things, you'll see how to secure a file just with the file permission, right? So those things you'll see. And what is SE Linux? So SE Linux is secure Linux, and we'll see that as well. It is like it is one more layer of protection to each and every file and directory. Each and every in the sense, literally every file and directory in the whole server will have that one more layer of protection. Okay, so using SE Linux context. So how it works and how to apply it. So all those you'll see that, and how to restrict the user with limited set of commands. Okay, so you can only provision few commands and he can execute only that. Okay, so those things we'll see that. And the next one is your basic networking. As I told, we'll see how to configure a static IP, how the host name, like how to configure the host name. Like even in the next session itself, we'll do that. And how to check, let's say your network services went down, how to check it, and how to make it persistent. Let's say even after reboot, it should be starting automatically, and the logs related to your networking, how to analyze that. So those things you'll see. And the last one, so containers, you might have heard the container Docker and Kubernetes, right? So Docker or this one. So these are all like market leaders now, but Red Hat has their own container solution, which is called as Podman. Okay, so Podman is like 95% same as Docker, or even the commands also almost same. Okay. So we will see how Podman works, because in your exam you can expect this Podman question. At least one question would be there, and how to configure it and create a startup service or something out of it. So at least one question for sure you can expect in the container. And so the last point we'll see is VMware vSphere. So I told VMware workstation at the second slide. Yeah, so here we saw VMware workstation. So this one, so this is the VMware workstation. Okay, um, let it go. So this is the workstation, but the options are there, but it is limited. Okay, so you won't use this for sure in your enterprise. So your enterprise VMware would look like, let me just search it. And with that, actually, that's it for the course, actually. So these many topics we will see in the course. And so once you're done with the course, obviously you can opt in for your exam, which is RHCSA. And at the last, if time permits, or if you are fine, you can share your resume at the last. I will just go through that. And if there is any refinement needed, I will make sure I will share it. Yeah, I guess Rakesh asked that, right? So yeah, yeah, Rakesh, that's what we'll do at the last of the session. Uh, because all these topics you need to include. Not everything no one will put that in the resume for sure. All the important topics you can put it in the resume. And let me quickly show you for whom this course is for. So first thing, so if you are starting your IT career, for sure this is a very, very important course. And why? Because from the basics we'll cover. So from the installation, even the next session will be about installation, how to install, and everything we'll be covering. And yeah, so if you want to start your IT career, you can opt in for this one. So you can, so once you're done with this course, you can opt for sysadmin role or system engineer role. Again, so system engineer and all, you need some experience, but right away you can opt in for sysadmin, and it is a Linux system you can opt in for, right? The next one is here. So let's say you are having at least 2 to 3 years of experience, you can opt in for DevOps role, right? So DevOps and SRE. So let's say you are having 8 plus years, 8 to 15 years of experience, you can opt in for SRE, which is Site Reliability Engineer, which is for now, even I am not a SRE, but I have seniors who are in my team who does SRE tasks. It includes automation and few coding. And once again, there is no coding involved in this session. So you need not worry, because few people worry about coding knowledge. So there is no coding involved. So Yeah, so you just need to remember few commands. So don't worry about it. So we will see that. And but right away you can opt in for sysadmin role. And obviously after RHCSA exam, and again, if you want to pay for the exam, obviously you can. And the exam cost is about RHCSA will be. This is from the official site. Okay, so it will be around 20K INR. Okay, so again, so some companies, not some, almost 80 to 90% of the companies sponsor it. Means like they have the learning programs, right? So you can even check with your company and opt in for it. So it is worth it. Okay, so it has its own credibility. So yeah, can we same for the Mac? Okay, so obviously you can do from the Mac. Mac is also based on Linux only, Ramu. So in your case, you need not even have the putty installed. So right away you can use it. Okay, so yeah. Sysadmin job average package. Okay, so that's a good question. Sysadmin, the average package nowadays, so previously it used to be around 3.5 L to 5. So now the starting itself is like 4.5 or 5 L to 6, somewhere like that. So obviously you can, let's say, a company like CGI or many companies are there. So like DXC Technologies. So they do have some like openings. Okay, so every time, so you can opt in for those kind of companies and you can get placed. Okay, so at the last of the session, I will do the resume review, but not for everyone. So again, so for the people who opt in, so please do ping me or let me know during the session. We will do the resume review. If time permits, during the session itself, we can do that at the very last. After the hours, we will do that. Okay, so that's it. And any other doubts, anyone? And so the announcement is, so this is a paid session, by the way. So it is not a free one. And the course fees is around 4130 INR. So 4130. And in USD it is around $50. And the duration is approximately 4 weeks. It's not like exactly 4 weeks. So depends on how many doubts you ask. So let's say you are asking so many doubts, which is welcome, it will extend. Okay, so at least 4 weeks of content is here, means 20 hours it will be. Okay, so uh, yeah. As of now, there is no discount is going on, Shiv Prasad, I guess. You can reach out to support at the rate Logic Labs. Okay, so they might have an idea on that. I guess there is a coupon going on, but not sure for this new courses. For the recordings, it is there. And for the people who can't opt in for, or you are having hard time with this particular one, you can go opt in for the self-paced recording. Okay, so self-paced recording in the sense it is the same course, but it is a recorded session. And if you paid for the session right away, you will have access to all the recordings and notes. It is from my previous batch. Okay, so yeah, the content is the same. Uh, this is an introduction section, Jessica. So this is not the first class. Obviously, only I discussed only the course details, right? So we didn't even start at the course. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay. So the recordings will be here. So let's say if your this time is not fine for you, like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST during the weekends, you can opt in for this one. And all the recordings will be like this. Okay. So yeah. And this is a like a weekday session. So that's the reason you see day 20 will be there. But yeah, it is the same. No databases, Rakesh. Actually, we won't discuss database because there is a database related course. You can opt in for that. Okay, so we won't discuss that for sure. Yeah, hi, Abdul. You're unmuted.
Hello, hi Karthik. Just want to ask you if you can show us the splicing and patching as well while uh, while we are doing the course.
Yeah, sure. Patching will be covered, Syed or Abdul. So yeah,
Uh,
we'll cover. I didn't mention the patching and all. So that's what like for our server troubleshooting, right? So patching or if patching fails, what happens? So those things we'll see and how to monitor the logs, right? So yeah, we will do that. Don't worry about it.
if possible on the prod servers.
Yeah, we will see that. Prod servers only. Yeah. Again, like it is, we will do in our mission only. How it is works in a prod servers, I will explain it. Don't worry about the commands and all. So, or how we approach in the production uh, on day-to-day basis, how we approach it. So those kind of things, we'll see that Abdul. Okay.
Is it possible for you to I know the companies won't allow you, but is it possible for you to show how you work on uh, your uh, your project?
Um, no, actually, we can't do that. But I can show you a kind of a replica of that. So let's say I can
I
create
think
the same
I think
scenario
yeah,
here,
and I've
and
been uh,
yeah, I can create the scenario here, and I can show you. Let's say if something is broke in the server, I can
hmm,
create the same thing here and show you how we approach it, the issue, and yeah, I can show you
all right,
that. So don't worry about it. Yeah,
all right, sure.
yeah. Uh, any database? Okay, yeah. So we don't cover any databases, as I already told. Okay, Rakesh, right? So Sirish, if okay, yeah, I will cover that, Rakesh. So system requirement. So if we are looking for live, oh, obviously it will be a live session only, Suresh. So live in the sense, it is a practical session only. So there won't be, so theory will be there for sure, like basics we will discuss. Since we might have people who don't know the basics of IT, right? So we'll cover from the basics. So what is the like how to install, and from the basics we'll cover it. But it is a pure practical sessions only. So few theory part will be there. So a lot of technical and practical commands only from the second or third session. So tomorrow we'll be installing. Okay. And yeah, okay, great. It's great that you're already a Windows admin. Yeah, so if you're already having an experience in Windows, it will be easy for you to understand this kind of like a user management and disk management and all. So for sure, it's great that if you opt in. We will discuss that anyhow, the Linux, how it works in the Linux and all. Yeah, we will discuss the issues, like whatever issues if you have any production issues, you just let me know in the session. We will discuss that on the fly because that will be useful for everyone, right? So yeah, and for the system requirement, so before going to the system requirement, let me just show you the VMware vSphere. So vSphere 7. Okay, so let me just quickly show you an image of it. So this is how it will be in your production servers. So obviously there is a huge difference between this and this because it is almost same, but here there will be a hierarchy form, right? So based on the domain, there will be a hierarchy. And here the data is called as data store. Okay, so I guess Sirish might already have an idea on this one since he is a Windows admin. Like you have a networking, everything will be a different UI here. So why I will show you this separately because like this is what you will be using in your work environment, not this. This is for our commercial use or for end user like us. Okay, so in your enterprise you will use this, and you might ask, okay, what then we should practice using this. You can, but there is a very huge issue with this because this is a system requirement is very high. or you should have a personal computer. So in my mission, I configured, or I have the hardware for this one. So in laptops, this doesn't work, unfortunately. Very few gaming laptops only this one works, vSphere. Okay, so that's the issue. So that's the reason we will, anyhow, the virtualization or everything will be doing here. And lastly, I will show you how it is, like how to compare both, right? So because here the terming, everything will be different one. So obviously we won't discuss everything because it is a huge topic, VM sphere itself. So how both are compared, right? So how to create a VM here, I will create it and show you at the last. Okay, so that's the one. And I also have this resource page. I'll just send it in the chat. Yeah. So if you just go to this link, which I sent in the chat, it will be, yeah, it will be redirecting you to a Google Drive link. So this is the installation files. Okay, so for the next session, and if you want to opt in for a system installation, or if you are fine with your installing in your machine, and you are having, you're not using your company's laptop, because in some company's laptop there will be restrictions, right? So if you're having your own laptop, that's great. If not, also in some companies they do allow you, like AWS or GCP nowadays, it is not restricted. Okay, so obviously you can access that. So there are two ways you can approach this one. So which is like installing in your own machine, which is using VMware Workstation. Means using the virtualization, we will install it, and you can use the CSP, which is Cloud Service Provider, like AWS. So don't worry about like, okay, how to install AWS and GCP and all. We will do that in next session. From the each and every step, I will show you how to do that. And so once you're going to the, so if it is not redirecting, this is the direct Google Drive link. So sorry, this one. So once you're in this Google Drive link, just go to the installation files, and you have this ISO. So ISO is the your operating system, and this is a RHEL 8.4, and you have this VMware Workstation Pro. So you just need to download these two files, and you see the file size, right? So it is a huge one. So let's say you're not having a stable network. If you download this, this is a one huge file, right? So if it is interrupted or your network is disconnected sometime, it again from first it will start. So for the people having network issues, you can download via torrent. So you just download qubit torrent and double click this, download this .torrent file and double click. It will download the same file in torrent. Okay, so yeah, possible. Let me show you that, because many people had an issue in my previous batches downloading that. Like this, it will open. Okay, you just click on OK, and it will start the download. That's it. So you need not even uncheck everything. So this is the ISO -DVD. Obviously, Shiv Prasad. So it is the same. Okay, so don't worry about AWS or GCP. That's the platform which we use. Okay, so but the commands will be the same, no matter which platform you check, you opt in. Let me pause this recording. Sorry, download. So yeah, so that's how you do the torrent download. And is there any doubts, anyone? And for the system requirement, right? So sorry, I didn't mention that. So system requirement for the VMware workstation is, it is not a huge one. So obviously you can run, yeah. So for Mac, actually you need to use not VMware workstation. It is called as VMware Fusion. So Yeah. So you need to use this one, Rakesh. Okay. So it is called as VMware Fusion. So you can use this, or you can even use VirtualBox. Uh, so Mac, very few people use actually. So, but yeah, you can use this one, or if possible, you can opt in for AWS. Okay. So if you're having issue configuring this, because I don't have a Mac, and yeah, but you can try installing this one. So this is the VMware solution for Mac. If you're having hard time installing or having issue configuring, so don't worry about it. You can opt in for AWS or GCP, and both are free. Okay, so don't think that okay, you need to pay for AWS and GCP. Any lab must be free, so for sure it is free. Okay, so don't worry about it. And the system requirement for the this one is the CPU should be at least one core CPU should be there. One in the sense, one is used for your base mission, means this one. So just go to your task manager and how to check how many cores you have. So just go to task manager, performance and CPU tab, and you see the cores, right? So in my case, I have 8 core. So in your case, it might be ranging from 2, 4, 6. Sorry, 6 might not be there. So 2, 4, and 8 will be there. So CPU core, at least 2 is enough. Okay, so one will be used for your base mission, and another one you will be using in the virtualization. And the next one is your RAM. So RAM or memory. So memory, obviously, only 1 gig is enough. Okay, so that's more than enough. If you have 8 gigs of RAM, you can use 2 gigs. So we will see how to configure that. And disk 20 gigs is fine. Okay, so these are all the basic system requirement. And once again, please do download this one and come in the next session. If not, also just see how we are doing in the next session and do configure during the whole week. And if you're facing any issues, please drop an email to the support@Logic Labs. Someone from the team will redirect it to me, and we will connect. Okay, so if you're still having issues configuring, I will take any desk session with you. Okay, so I will take control of your system, and I will configure it if you are having hard time configuring. Okay, so please drop an email to support@Logic Labs Tech if you are facing any technical related issue. Drop a mail. And if you're having issue payment also, drop an email. And someone asked for the coupon, right? So you can check with them. Anything, only just drop an email to them. For sure, they will respond during the working hours. So yeah. So any other doubts in this topics and all? So again, patching will be covered, so don't worry about it. I didn't mention it here, but it is a basic concept, so for sure it will be covered, guys. Okay, and yeah. So once again, like the YouTube channel, I didn't mention, right? So the YouTube channel has already the recordings of my previous batch. So this is my 17th batch, I guess, with Logic Labs. So you can go through my previous batches recordings. Means the demo sessions. You can go through that, and you can check that and see how I'm approaching my like how is my training there and all. So yeah, like this. So you just go to this YouTube channel, and you can check that. Okay, so yeah, and if you want to opt in for the course, so using this link, you can opt in. Logic Labs, and this is the graphic. So the very first the yeah, this is the portal. You can opt in, and all the recordings will be posted here. And this the current session recording will be posted in the YouTube channel, so you can check that. Okay, so yeah, I guess it's already time. Um, yeah, since it is a demo session today, we will wind up as of now, and In tomorrow's session, we will be continuing. So please do download. Once again, let me quick give that link so that, yeah, just click on it and you can even bookmark this. So just click on here and bookmark it so that, yeah, because anything related to the course will be posted here. And I didn't show the question paper, right? So this is the question paper. So it is around 22 questions will be there. 22 to 24 ranges, from 22 to 24 depends on when you attend the question exam, right? So like this only question paper will be. So we will discuss the question paper also during the session. Every question will be seeing the answers, and obviously you can clear the exam once you're done with the course for sure, because even though it won't ask the same question won't be there, the concept wise everything will be covering. So you can see if you cover archive, obviously you can answer this question no matter which part they are asking. You know the concept, right? So you can answer it. So yeah. So you can create your own account, Kadir. If you're having hard time creating, you just again check with the support team. They will help you out. So once you created the account and logged in, the recordings will be, yeah. So once you logged in and if you see the courses, it will be showing, like if you opt in for this course, it will be showing in your dashboard, the recordings and the notes for the day. Okay. So yeah, so it's already time. So thanks for your time, guys. And so if there is any doubt, if not, we can wind up the session. Okay, then yeah. So I guess that's it for the day. So please join tomorrow at the same time. And yeah, thanks all. We'll see you in the next session. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.